How y'all folks doing? It's your guy back in the saddle with another 5 of them things, and we have some happenings in Charger land within the last week and a half or so, including the combine. I got some thoughts about all that stuff, so let's get into it. First up, Tom to the rescue. Now, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but if you watch that pre-combine presser from Tom Telesco, it seemed to me like he was reading from a pre-prepared script. That didn't sound like the Tom Telesco that we've all come to know and loathe. Dude started essentially acknowledging rookie quarterback windows and all the stuff that was like, it's like a complete 180 from what we had heard previously in this postseason joint. But man, he was talking the type of stuff that we all want to hear. Now, whether or not it's going to be executed remains to be seen. But you have to at least be happy from or with what you heard. Hopefully that leads to good things, and maybe Brandon Staley has gotten into his ear, and with the results of last season being what they were, this signals a changing of things within the organization, and maybe, just maybe, Tommy's getting with the times. Maybe. Second up, the BSB grocery list. Now, I'm not going to front. I really missed hearing Brandon Staley talk football. And boy, did we get an abundance of that this past week. He was on multiple different platforms, just doing what he does, sounding like a complete football savant. And there were 2 things that you couldn't help but notice because he kept stressing them. It was completeness and depth, which we know have been an Achilles heel of this team for, hell, as long as I can remember. 1 through 10, the roster looks awesome. Everything after that, complete mess. And that shows itself literally year in and year out. So this offseason should be something to behold, particularly in free agency. He was talking about the need for cornerbacks, which, thank you, God, ultimately means that Chris Harris Jr. has seen his last day as an LA Charger on the football field. Can't wait till that's like for certain and locked up. I don't think there's any way he comes back, but Staley understands what's necessary for this defense to work. I mean, it's his defense, of course, duh. But what it tells you is that there's going to be a real microscope put on that position. So you can do it however you want. And I'm happy to see the way he's going to maneuver here in the offseason and what kind of influence he's had on good old Tommy and crew. Trade aid, the best of both worlds. A few folks have been paying attention, and I know that you have. There are some really nice pieces to be had out in free agency. You can fill a whole lot of holes and for some affordable rates. And if you want to do the 1-for-1, you can get one of those, whatever those are, whether it be interior defensive line, corner, safety, so on and so forth, and then pair that with, a pick in the draft as well. Or if you want to double down on something in free agency, then it just opens you up a little bit more in the draft as well. And the last thing you want to see Tommy do is go into the draft with a need, because we know how that normally turns out. And if the best player available at any position of need isn't there, the likelihood of reaching is very high. So that's the way I think it should roll. Go get your stuff in free agency, make some moves there, do what you got to do, go into the draft with some flexibility. Just my opinion. Number 4, mic it or not. Yeah, not that this is shocking to anyone, because I think the majority of us expected that this would be the case, but news has started to trickle out that the Chargers plan on putting the franchise tag on a one Mike Williams. You guys all know how I feel about that, so I won't go in depth about it anymore. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. So let's just move forward amicably. 18.5 mil is the number, I believe. Cool. I'm not even going to spend a whole bunch of time on this. Here's what I'm curious about. Are they planning on keeping him for a year, or are they looking to work out a long-term deal? Either way, their business. No more comments on it. Just get some freaking speed. That's all I know. That's got to happen. So moving along. And around this bad boy out, number 5. Take your pick. Yeah, man, I didn't really know what to expect going into this year's combine. I mean, y'all guys kind of know my slogan is tape over tights. So there's not a whole lot that anyone could have done out there on that field that would have swayed me one way or the other. Now, I'll admit, there were some dudes that put on a show out there beyond what I even saw on the tape, which lets me know that once they get into the league, become a bit more seasoned, and are fully able to unlock all of what they have from an athleticism standpoint, whew, it's going to be nasty for some people. But with that being said, there was one thing out there that there was an abundance of, and I mean an abundance: speed, particularly at the wide receiver position. So here it goes. Everything's lining up for them to make the moves necessary to fully unlock Justin Herbert. I mean, I'm going to throw some names out there to you, and maybe halfway through it, you'll know what they all have in common. Moore, Watson, Melton, Gray, Austin, Jones, and what? Thornton? All sub 4.4 guys that can all be had outside of the first round. Well, maybe not Watson, because dude has been climbing up board since around Senior Bowl time, and all he's done is advance himself on even more of an upward trajectory, and the draft only kind of solidified that. So we'll see where that goes. But man, there's no excuses at this point. If you need a dude who can take the top off, who can create, if you want to throw him something short and not have to depend on him running fast in a straight line and just getting behind people and hoping that he catches it once you lob it up there to him, this is the draft to get it done. So let's hope and pray that happens, because again, it just seems kind of like all the stars are aligning. The pieces are in place. It just has to be executed. But we'll see how it goes. Free agency is coming up here in a bit, followed by the draft in a few weeks, and the pieces of the puzzle will slowly begin to come together. So till the next one, I'll catch you guys later on. But you know what happens no matter what. Whatever news drops, whatever is going on in Charger land, your boy will always be back with a nice little hot and spicy 5-piece. Per usual, fresh out the air fryer, because got to keep it healthy. Check y'all later. Gone.